Hello, it's Saturday the 17th of September. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's great to have you with us today. I'm Mark Broom. Let's start with a look at Korea's expressways as the 5-day Chuseok Thanksgiving holiday winds down. Hundreds of thousands of Koreans who have spent the last couple of days in their hometowns to see family and perform ancestral rituals have been filtering back into the capital throughout the day. Seoul-bound expressways have been congested for most of the day and will remain so for the rest of the evening. The Korea Expressway Corporation says traffic volume should start to thin out considerably from around midnight. Setting off from the southern city of Busan, it will take you nearly 5 hours to get to Seoul from Gwangju in the southwest. As you can see, expect to be in the car for slightly over 4 hours from Gangneung. On the east coast, it will take you 3 hours to get to Seoul. Expressways in and out of the Korean capital are projected to be running pretty much as normal on Sunday. South Korea's top diplomat is set to travel to New York this evening to attend the 71st session of the UN General Assembly. Yoon Byung-se will meet with his counterparts from the United States and Japan on the sidelines of the Assembly to discuss countermeasures against North Korea's recent nuclear test. Ji Myung-gil has more.
Seoul's Foreign Ministry Yoon Byung-se will meet with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida on Sunday on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. During their three-way meeting, the officials plan to formulate a coordinated response to North Korea's nuclear provocations, ahead of measures to be taken at the UN Security Council, including further sanctions against Pyongyang. Minister Yoon also plans to hold separate one-on-one talks with Kerry and Kishida. Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo are pushing for tough new sanctions on Pyongyang after the regime conducted its fifth and largest nuclear test on September 9th. The blast was in defiance of UN sanctions that were tightened in March. The United States also wants China to do more to rein in its longtime ally. Last week, U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter pressed Beijing to use its considerable sway over North Korea to curb its nuclear and missile development. China's cooperation is deemed vital as it's one of the 5 veto-holding permanent members of the UN Security Council and the main provider of food and fuel to the impoverished North. North Korea's Foreign Minister Lee Yong-ho is scheduled to deliver a keynote address at the UN General Assembly on September 24th. Ji Myung-gil, Arirang News.
Senators in the United States have introduced a resolution denouncing North Korea's 5th nuclear test and calling for tougher sanctions on the regime. Congressional records show Senator Benjamin Cardin brought in the resolution on Thursday, saying the North's nuclear missile provocations pose a major threat to the US and its allies in the region. The resolution condemns Pyongyang for continuing its dangerous provocations, focusing solely on the advancement of its nuclear missile capabilities while violating the human rights of its people. It urges North Korea to immediately and unconditionally abandon its nuclear missile programs and called on China to exercise its leverage over the North, including through aggressive enforcement of UN sanctions. It also calls for the UN Security Council to adopt additional and meaningful new measures against Pyongyang. New figures show South Korea remains one of the most dangerous places in the developed world to drive or be a pedestrian. Data from the OECD shows Korea has the second highest road fatality rate among OECD countries. The number of Koreans killed on the road reached 101.4 per 1 million people in 2013, Korea's reading, although an improvement from 105 in 2011 and 119 in 2009 is much higher than the OECD average. Now, with around 50 days to go before Americans vote for the next president, a new poll has Hillary Clinton with a 4 percentage point lead over Donald Trump. The Reuters Ipsos poll taken between September 9th and the 15th showed 42% of likely voters supported Clinton, while 38% backed her Republican rival. Respondents took the survey after video surfaced of Clinton collapsing at a 9/11 memorial event in New York on Sunday due to what her campaign said was a bout of pneumonia. However, other polls released over the past couple of days show a much tighter race, with the latest LA Times poll even giving Donald Trump a 6-point lead over Clinton. Trump has also closed the gap or even pulled into the lead in the key battleground states of Ohio, Florida, Nevada and Pennsylvania. Thailand has confirmed almost 280 cases of Zika since the turn of the year, prompting concerns the rise in numbers could deal a heavy blow to the nation's tourism industry. In their latest bid to contain the outbreak, authorities in Thailand say they will criminally charge homeowners who fail to remove mosquito breeding grounds on their property. The government is reviving an old law allowing officials to order the removal of ponds or any areas with still water found to foster mosquitoes which can transmit the Zika virus. Anyone failing to clean up or remove ponds can face 1 month behind bars and a fine of up to $140. Now, with the promise that future technology will be helpful and handy, many people have been eagerly awaiting a time when artificial intelligence becomes a part of our daily lives. But with rising concerns AI could end up replacing humans in the workforce or even altogether, 5 tech giants are working on establishing a standard of ethics around the creation of AI. Kim Hye-sung has a story.
The world's 5 leading tech giants are trying to create a standard of ethics around artificial intelligence. According to the New York Times, researchers from Google's parent company Alphabet, Amazon, Facebook, IBM, and Microsoft have been meeting to discuss issues like the impact of AI on jobs, transportation, and even warfare. These discussions are taking place after the field of AI has made rapid progress in a range of areas, from driverless cars and voice recognition to robots and weapon systems that could pose a threat to people's jobs and even their very existence. The specifics of what the 5 companies will decide or do are not yet known, but according to the New York Times, they have shared a memorandum and plan to announce a new organization, a so-called AI industry group, in 2 weeks. And their basic goal? To make sure that the focus of AI research is on benefiting people, not hurting them. One of the concerns among AI researchers has been the government making AI regulations. The general manager for IBM's Watson Artificial Intelligence Division, David Canny, said in an interview with the New York Times that there is a role for government and we respect that. The challenge is a lot of times policies lag the technologies. The importance of the industry effort can be seen in recent projects by Stanford University and MIT that study the social and economic impact of AI. As artificial intelligence technology advances rapidly, academics and industry researchers are moving fast to link the technological progress closer to socio-economic policy issues. Kim Hye-sung, Arirang News.
Now, fashion is not only a way to express oneself, but it's a reflection of social and cultural changes as well. An exhibition in Seoul featuring 100 years of Korean fashion offers a glimpse into history. Park Se-young tells us more.
In the early 20th century, Western culture was making its way into Korea's Confucian society. Style-conscious men began to wear bowlers and fedoras instead of Korean traditional hats, and modern girls put on Western-style dresses and heels instead of hanbok. This exhibition in central Seoul is showcasing 100 years of Korean fashion from the 1910s to the present and features work by 60 designers. First-generation designers Choi Kyung-ja and Nora No, who got their start in the 1950s, added a Korean twist to Western fashion trends. In the 1970s, with their bell-bottoms and acoustic guitars, designers expressed freedom. Color television and pop culture in the 80s brought riding pants and jackets with power shoulders. Since the 90s, fashion in Korea has made rapid progress with the Korean wave and is evolving into a style dubbed K-fashion. From fashion items worn by celebrities to clothes with stories behind them, the exhibition takes visitors through the changes in trend and atmosphere of a century of style.
Koreans have great interest in fashion and are very style conscious, so we can see which trends were pulled from which time period. It's a very fun exhibition.
Highlighting the past, present, and future of Korean fashion and Korean history, Mode and Moments runs through September 22nd. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the weekend weather before we go. Most of the central region is under mostly clear skies this evening. It'll be a fairly mild night. The low is going to dip to just 17 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Sunday will be rather pleasant with plenty of sunshine in most places. Highs will range in the mid to high 20s. With that, let's take a look at the weather in Korea and around the world. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We will be back again with our next newscast coming up at 10 p.m. Korea time. So until then, goodbye.